Welcome to the Richmond Film Network podcast, your all-access pass to the world of independent cinema. Each week, we go beyond the credits and sit down with the creatives who turn vision into reality. Tune in weekly to find out who's on the RFN pod.
Welcome to the Richmond Film Network podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Giles, and with me today is Adam Mackie, writer, director, editor of the dark comedy End of Story, which is screening at RFN Indie Fest on Saturday, August 29th, 7 p.m. in the bi-coastal Beat block of courts. Adam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Adam, I'd like to read your bio so our audience can know a little bit more about you. Adam Mackie is a 3D animator and film director, currently based in New York, and was originally born in Beirut, Lebanon. Starting off as a freelance graphic designer, Adam later delved into 3D animation and film direction. He holds a bachelor's degree in 3D animation from Pratt Institute and a master's degree in film directing from the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. Adam, tell me in your own words what End of Story is about.
Well, End of Story, it's about a writer's block. Every writer and director will agree with me. At some point throughout writing any story or directing any vision in your head, there's always like a block that happens. And you reach a point where you can't find a solution to something that you're writing about. In the story is about that, but it's something that happened to me in a way. Of course, in the story, it's more dramatized for the sake of getting more attention from a viewer. But more or less, it's about me when I was writing another script, and that was a few years ago. And I kept stopping, like taking a few days off and come back. But throughout this pausing days, I got tortured from all these ideas of like, maybe the characters that like speaking in my head about like, come on, find something, do something. Of course, not in a crazy way, but I thought deep inside of me, I was struggling to find it, and then I spoke to my co-writer Adam Bertocci and said, I want to write a script about what I'm going through now, and I came up with the idea, and I wrote the rough script and I sent it to him, and he loved it, and we worked together for probably a month or two. Month and a half maybe on it, and I end up filming it before the other one is not filmed yet. We end up, I think, finishing everything maybe in June last year, 2024.
So it's almost, for it to happen that way, it almost feels like this was the one that was meant to come out first.
It's a very interesting question, because as a new director, and I consider myself new, this is like my second short film, I felt like I need to be, because I was writing a very serious script. It's called Prayers of the Unlucky. It's a very serious love story, tragic love story. And I wrote the story when I was probably, I would say, I was 18 or 19. That was like 30 years ago. And I felt like it's too much pressure for me. Although I studied, film directing, and there was like a writing program and everything, but I felt like I need like just a little more practice. And I think that was pushed me to do like a shorter, like a story, just to practice, to feel more comfortable with actors, because you're on set with actors. I just needed maybe I was giving myself an excuse to get more practice before getting involved seriously in my main project, and I think that was part of it. I found a little escape, and I wrote that short story, and then my intention was, obviously I love the script and the story, but my intention was to practice a little bit more before jumping to a feature film. And that's what had happened. I ended up filming it, and I love the way it's done. And I think it's great. I end up writing in the story now. I took my time and I wrote in the story as a feature film, which called now it's called The Blackwoods. It's the essence of the story is there, but I changed, of course, to stretch it. I had to make some changes to make it like not repetitive, because it's the one character keeps showing up. It's kind of I couldn't do it for like 2 hours or 90 minutes or so. But that was the story behind it. Yes.
Well, I can't wait to see the extended version, and B, you said that the feature that you were working on was a serious love story. End of Story is a dark comedy, so it took you in a completely different space to write comedically, in a dark way, but to the tone, I'm assuming, is completely different.
Yeah. Um, I wrote in the story first as a little horrorish, but then everyone told me that because my first short film, I didn't know why, but I ended up writing, I think it was a pandemic, and I wrote the story, the first short film, it's called Few of Many. It's about a couple struggling to have children, and they hire a surrogate, and the surrogate runs away pregnant because she fell in love with that. It's kind of like a twisted, crazy story. And after that, when I told the story in the story to some of my friends, they told me it's like a little dark also. So maybe you should switch it up to like a comedic a little bit. Although there's like a major scene in the story at the end. It's just comedy. Even the music, it's a kind of a playful comedy in a way. So yeah, I had to go like in a different direction. And again, just for practice to be on set, to train myself with actors and all the crew and everything. And also find be comfortable, like also more comfortable with the DP, because I liked him. I worked with him on the first short, and I was planning to use him also in the future. And I said I want to see like take him in a different direction, see if he's versatile, can do everything in terms of like camera angles, and if he understands my vision. And he did, and I'm planning to use him also in my future film. But that was the main purpose of I would say one of the purposes. It was, just to get more practice.
How did your collaboration with Adam Bertacci
Yeah.
happen?
Adam Bertacci, I knew Adam Bertacci from the days I was in school. He was one of the writers that the school hired to help to write with the students their scripts and stuff. And I kept in touch with him, and I contacted him when I did my first short, and then I contacted him uh, when I started writing in the story. And I liked, he's very easy to work with, and I liked. It's a very nice guy, very easy to work with. He understands. If he tells you if there's something like, oh, I don't think it's gonna work, he'll tell you, and I listen to him most of the time. But we always end up agreeing on most of the stuff. So that was my relationship with him, and I'll keep working with him, because let's say if I'll write like 30 pages, 40 pages, and we end up me and him stretching it to 90 pages. That's what happened with the two other scripts, and I'm writing a script right now. It's a totally different, uh, you know, genre. It's like a sci-fi thriller. I'm so far I think it's 39 pages. So far he's not involved in writing it, although I texted him, to get his opinion on some of the stuff. But yeah, that's my relationship with him.
The isolated house setting contributes so much to the mood of End of Story. Was that setting inspired by any particular literary or cinematic retreats that you may have been on?
Um, Again, that's a very relevant, but it's very like good question for him as a writer, because he's struggling. He needed to be in a house away from society, from civilization. And the story is that he gets this house from his friends for like 2 weeks to write the story. We did location scouting and end up seeing this house, that it was a cabin actually in the woods, middle of nowhere. But it was like literally there's a road that you drive in, and there's no one there. Uh, As this was a family living in it, and we begged them to let us rent the house, and they gave it to us for I think 3.5 to 4 days uh, only. They couldn't, their family with kids, so we had to squeeze the schedule for 4 days, the whole thing, and it was a night shoot. It was like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning every day. So yeah, the house was a must to be isolated in the middle of nowhere for the sake of the story and the creepiness also, because if you remember, that the people they knock on his door, if it's not in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't make, it's not like shocking. So he's in the middle of nowhere and someone knocking on the door. He's not expecting anyone. So that was the point of it, that who the hell is, knocking on the door and like 5 a.m. in the morning. Well, yeah, I mean, so it had to be that way. It had to be that far.
Was there much set decoration involved to getting the house prepared for the shoot?
I think we took some of the stuff in the house that's like very personal to the family. And we cleared some of the stuff outside the house just to make it like, I wouldn't say neglected in a way, but not, it's like it's no one lives there in a way. It's like a summer house. He borrowed this house that, even people who own it, they don't, they're not there. They don't care once in a while or whatever. So we did some of space, opening space a little bit for the camera and the track and everything. Uh, but we didn't change because I think we weren't allowed even to change anything much beside the little stuff. Uh, you know, because we're not a big production company. We're gonna pay like, what I mean. So we had to do as much as we can, but we respected the house and the owners. I felt like it works the way as is.
Now, as a trained animator, how has that training shaped this project and what we see?
Yeah, so animation played an amazingly important role in this project and the project before. And I'll tell you why. As a film director now, I counted so much on my animation expertise because, and the story is 21 minutes. Uh, is it 19 minutes now? We cut some of it. But my point is, I animated literally every single scene first, and I got the scenes exactly as I wanted to be in 2D and 3D, with lighting, with camera angles, staging, everything. It took me like months and months to do it, but because we knew we don't have the house much, we have the house only for 4 days, so we didn't have much time. I didn't want any surprises on set, so I studied every scene, animated it, and I sent it to my DP and the producer and everything. I said, this is exactly how I want it to be, as close as it could be to this. So I have end of story in an animatic also, as just to make it easier for me on set. Because once we're there, here it is. We every scene is there. This is how I want it. So there was no surprises. And I'm telling you, it happened. There was no surprises. Maybe minimal stuff just because of the space limitation there a little bit, but it worked so much, and it made the process much easier on me there.
I have heard writers say often that the characters in what they're writing talk to them. And this takes that premise and runs with it. So there's a dynamic of power and control between author and character. How much would you say that comes into play in your writing?
When you create a story, you create, characters, lives, events, and it's a life from start to end. And you have responsibility on, with the character to finish their story, the responsibility with the viewer, to kind of make everything reasonable. When you're writing, you feel like you're very connected to the character, and you feel like sometimes they're talking to you in a way. not in a crazy way, but you feel like you connected with them. You have to be very connected to your characters, and you feel like they're part of your life. And yes, I had like um, so many times in these all these scripts that sometimes you analyze. Is this logical? Is this good? Is this not good? And uh, sometimes you see it from the character's point of view, or you have uh, to make everything as perfect as possible. And I think it went through a lot of uh, communications in a way with the character, just with the characters in the story. And I think it helps to put your shoes in the character and go from there. And if we're talking about in the story, I think it worked. It has the writer that's I'm a writer, so I it was easy to put myself in his shoes, and talk in a way, uh, talk in his shoes and see if it makes sense or not.
Well, and then there's a third dynamic that comes into play when you bring the actors on to play them. And then your actors, Tracy Bennett and Sebastian Beacon, who come in to play the two leads, they're, I thought, perfection. I thought that they really understood the roles very well. So when you have this story in your head, which parallels the story on the page, the characters in the page, and then you bring the actors, and then they bring what they uh, as professional actors and their experience and their opinions. Tell me about all of that. How did they come in with any suggestions, with any
Uh,
notes of what or requests?
uh, it's my relationship with both of them on set was amazing. I think they're both like such great actors. I knew Tracy Bennett from before because I worked with her, and I knew how much she is capable of. She's a wonderful actress. She's mainly a stage actress. She does a lot of Broadway shows, West End shows. She's always she's always doing something. She just finished doing Here We Are, Sandheim in New York, and then they took it to London. She just finished in London. She just announced that she's doing Tallulah Banks a bank a show. She's preparing for it now. Um, so I knew how much she's capable of. She's an amazing actress, and I wrote when the script was finished. I sent it to her, and she loved it. And she said, because it's a short film, she's a big actress, so she needed to know, obviously with her agent, when we're filming and how we're filming, and you know, with the budget and so on. So, which is like a normal thing. Um, and thank God our schedule would, she was able to fit it in her schedule. It was only if she was in London, she came all the way from London to film for 4 days. I think she stayed for like 10 days. She did like, to come before a few days to rest, to get ready, and then after that. But that's for Tracy Bennett. I mean, she's amazing. I love working with her. I would work with her again. Yeah, Sebastian Beacon, I didn't know Sebastian from before. It was like the usual process of, auditioning and all. The minute I looked at him, uh, he sent me the self-tape. I knew it was him. I mean, I did auditions with so many people, but it was him because he had that look of, the, his hair was longer, exactly as I wanted in the script. Like kind of like someone he wants to be better. You know what I mean? He wants to prove himself to the world as a writer, and the self tape was he got it spot on. So I was convinced right away it was him, and they connected both of them together. I connected them together, and they it was so easy. It was so like fluid with them there on set because they understood both of them understood the parts so well.
For an actor, I imagine Tracy must have been thrilled to have gotten the role, to be able to flex her acting muscles and be able to play so many different types of characters.
Yeah, we only had 4 days or 3.5 days specifically. She had to do, I think, two of the, without giving away, but two of the two characters in one night, like totally different characters. Like she literally did the first, went to the, dressing room, changed, makeup, everything, and came back and did the other part. And I give her so much credit for doing that because it's very hard to switch from. And if you notice, I'm sure you noticed they're so different. All the parts that she played is so different. So she was able to switch, and which was very impressive for me.
I have to point out two of my favorite moments in the film, which are nods to the writing, and to the performance. But there's one when the character appears and talks about her hunted eyes, and then the writer corrects her and says, "No, that was a typo. It's supposed to be haunted."
Yeah.
I thought that was so clever, so clever.
Yeah.
And then the second. No, go ahead.
That was actually Adam Bertocci's idea. That few of the lines that he did were amazing, and I think it was a highlight of the short film.
Yeah, such a small moment, but I thought it had such impact, especially for anybody who is a writer who can, relate to that. Oh, just that one letter can change an entire way that, something is perceived,
I will have these typos, like typo, it happens so many times. When I read the script that I'm writing, I feel like, oh, there's another typo. So.
Well, and then that second point is when the character reminds the writer that she stopped drinking back in chapter 1.
Right.
And again, something that any writer can relate to, especially if you're going through multiple edits and revisions and revisions and revisions. What did I take out? What did I, how did I change this? And then forgetting to go back and change something.
Yeah.
So, I think that any writer can relate to that.
They kind of like completed each other. The writer, the creation and the creator in the story, they kind of like corrected each other, like completed each other in a way.
Yeah, brilliant writing.
Thank you.
So Adam, you were born in Beirut and now you live and work in New York.
Yep.
How has your cultural journey influenced how you tell stories?
Yeah, as a kid growing up in Beirut till I was 17, there's a lot of limitation there. Yeah, I was a kid with big dreams, but it wasn't possible back then. There was like a lot of wars going on, and there was a lot of frustration. I wanted to pursue what I wanted to pursue, but it wasn't possible. This kind of impacted a lot. It has a lot of impact on me because I wanted to say so many things and I couldn't. And I feel like by start writing and I was able to say, like, no one is in control of anyone. Everyone is free to say and do whatever they want to do. We're all free. We're all the same. We're all human beings. We make mistakes, we correct the mistakes, we say stuff we want to say. And I feel like these women in the story, that they went against the creator, that he's trying to control how they live their life. Even with the way they dress, he's imagining. If you see in the film, there's a thought that we see that's like writing, and it shifts to her like in a field, like dressing in a certain way. But when she shows up, she dressed the way she wants, in a way. My point is, it's no one should be in control of anyone. Anyone should be able to live their life the way they want to live. And this is probably what part of my not living in Beirut and living here. It's like it's a free country. It's a big part. It has a big impact on me personally. as a writer, director, as a human being. So yeah, it impacted a lot actually.
Adam, what does success mean to you as a filmmaker?
Success. There are a lot of people in the industry. Success means like money. Success means you're well known, you're making more money and more money and more money. To me personally, it's not as much as I want to do more of this, but not for the sake of making more money. This is my dream since I was a kid, and I was able lately to start doing it because I was trying, to survive day by day, working other jobs. Uh, so success means doing more and more of what I like specifically, which is directing films and writing. Because writing, I wasn't planning to be a writer. It just happened that I'm writing stories, and I felt like I have all these ideas in my head, so I write them. Because I didn't study writing, it was in the program, obviously, but it wasn't in depth. So I feel like my success is being able to do this and keep doing it and get better and better in it. That's a success to me.
So End of Story is screening at Richmond Film Network Indie Fest on August 9th. What are you hoping that the Richmond audience takes away from this film?
Yeah, I want the audience to enjoy it. Just have fun. Don't take it too seriously.
Well, the Richmond Film Network has a monthly screenwriters lab, and I'm definitely encouraging all of them to come and see it. I think they would appreciate it so much and find it very
Oh,
relatable.
great.
So I'll, I'll let you know what they think after they see
Please,
it.
yes.
So wrapping up, I want to finish off with some closing questions. But if you, Adam, could step into one fictional world and rewrite its ending, what fictional world would it be, and how would you rewrite it?
Fictional world. Um,
Any film or fairy tale or novel, if you could step into that world and change the ending.
Interesting.
What?
Uh, Interesting. There's a film that very dear to me. It's called The English Patient,
Mm.
and I think it was, I would say, 30 years ago. It's one of my favorite films. But I wish I can step in and change uh, some of the events in that film. Not because I don't like it, just because it felt so sad, uh,
Mm.
you know,
Heartbreak. Mm.
heartbreaking. And I think this is part of like my earlier heartbreak that I got from films. I was young and it was a devastating film. So I think I would step in the main character and then change some of the actions that he took and make it like a happy ending. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have the same effect because it's such a beautiful film, but yeah.
Get it. Get it. All right. Question 2. What's the weirdest, most personal detail that you've ever snuck into a script, if you're willing to share it?
Personal, yes. Okay. In my feature film, the Prayers of the Unlucky, which is not, it's not, it's in the early pre-production stages. There's a there's an there's a character, it's like a character that has a female character that has an abusive husband, and I took this uh, from a real life relative, and I put it in the script because it had such an impact on me. So I had to put it there because things like this shouldn't be forgotten because it could happen to any person, any woman, any man. I think it affected me so much that I put it in the script. An abusive relationship between a couple.
You're making me want to see this film, Adam. Wait. All right. Third question. Complete this sentence. A story ends when.
The story ends when I think the story never ends. That there's no end. There's no. I think there's no ending. That's actually no story has an end. You go see a film and it's a happy ending, but it's in real life it's not. It's just like a time frame, and then like it goes beyond that, but we don't see that on film. So I don't think there's an end for any story, real life or film.
That is a brilliant answer. I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
that. Oh, I love that answer. I love that. Adam, this is so much
Thank
fun.
you so much.
Thank you for sharing Althea and Rowan with us and with our Richmond audience, who again can see the film on August 9th at the Park RVA at 7 p.m. And Adam, tell our viewers how they can keep up with you and your work when that next film comes out, especially.
Yes. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time. You're going to watch my film. I hope you enjoy it. I have Instagram, Adam Mackie 15, Adam Mackie director. I have in this story, I have adammackie.com, which is my website. So you can reach me. If you see the film and you want to say something, please just drop me a message on Instagram or whatever, and I'll be happy to answer any question.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Richmond Film Network podcast. Thanks to our guest and to you, our listeners, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Tune in next week to see who's on the RFN pod. Until then, keep the cameras rolling.